Okay. Hi, everyone. Good evening, everybody. I hope you can hear me well. I'm, so, I hope and so I'm doing this evening. And everyone you and circuit board team more, going about to I know in right around the we receive uh, uh, and team on the February claim on employee 3 hours on when I um be working for a while for home earn more for in for a while and this particular live in um uh, and I think this sorry right now is that to live online and we do some was so 2 days ago leave name our group. I don't call the name. I apologize. The group from about because that's essentially what we do. Uh, like called a superpower. Okay. Any technology or and so on and so forth. You will know for a fact we watch movies. We have Tom Cruise, Angelina Jolie, and these people. We're very familiar. Okay, so and be familiar with all their movies, but they will have this of error. They will that speaks that audio is on and off. I am just is audio on and okay. Really? Is it? Are you guys okay? To read me better now? Let me just edit. Okay. All right. Let me just come off. I'm just gonna come off quickly and then just come back. Okay. Are you able to hear me right now? Is this better? If it is, please give me a thumbs up. So I'm apparently for some reason I thought my internet was really fast just now, but people are saying that my video is bad. Okay, really bad. Is there? Level is bad. Okay, is it better, guys? Are you able to see me and hear me? My team, if you can, let me know in the Telegram chat. Okay, let me know, please. I'm so sorry. I apologize. I don't know why. It's on my side. Everything seems okay. Let me quit some applications. I don't know what is going on. Okay, so I'm just going to quit some of my application so that it gives some bandwidth. Okay, so some reason I think that's like a bandwidth. All right, this is better, guys. All right, thank you, Fahana. Thank you, guys. So sorry, everyone. Okay. Okay, it's better now. Okay, I have no idea where I left off. Okay, I apologize. So sorry for the technical difficulty. You know what? Totally, never mind. FV fine now. Okay, thank you. So sorry. Okay, thanks a lot. Thank you. And let's resume whatever we are supposed to resume. I was talking about culture, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, about America. So why are we consuming so much American content, so much American product, American culture? It is because of the way they have, produced these things that has become attractive for the rest of the world to buy and be able to, like, they can go all around the world and do world tours, like, for their bands, all these Western, especially those from America, right? You go to speaking events in Singapore, and a lot of these speakers are from the West, from the US. So it always seems to be giving birth to things that we are always wanting to, that we gravitate towards. We want those content, we want those expertise, we want those specialty. Okay, so that's why when I decide to, like, look at myself in terms of growth, personal growth, in terms of my business, I tend to gravitate myself towards the US in being able to find things in America that I can learn, that I can improve myself on. Okay, and like I said, you cannot bring Aaron Aziz and do a world tour or some singer. I have no idea what's the latest singing group in Singapore. They just won't buy. Nobody over there will give a damn. Okay, but anyone who comes from there over to Asia, all the girls or little teenagers will go, ooh, ah! They will be so excited, right, to meet these people. Okay, so that's why I feel culture-wise, okay, the US has something to offer. Okay, and people gravitate, people want to consume the content. We watch movies from Hollywood all the time. Okay, and that's just one. So America itself finding an ending to the US, which some people have been reading quite a fair bit, because they see a lot of what's happening on the news. Okay, with Trump and doing all his things that he's supposed or not supposed to do in America, whatever he intends to do with his own country. Frankly, as a foreigner, we don't exactly have the right to comment much, okay, because that's not exactly our country. Our own country has our own set of problems that we need to look after. And being a president of a country is not easy. I'm not trying to defend him. Some things that he does is quite laughable, but I'm just seeing on the sidelines. It's only so much about American politics that we can do or be a part of. But at the end of the day, I do know for a fact that whatever that happens in the US will happen globally. Okay, and whatever happens in the housing market will happen globally. So some people take an interest in knowing what's going on, in being able to understand what's happening there might affect us right now, right here in Singapore. What happened in the global financial crisis, it started in America. Okay, banks went going greedy and all that. Okay, the entire dominoes fell all across the world. It went into a great financial recession, right? Okay, so as of now, if you are aware that almost the rest of the world, well, almost was successful in tackling the pandemic, in flattening the curve, in reducing the number of infected. Okay, Singapore being one of them. Malaysia is the other country. Okay, some countries around Asia were successful in bringing down the numbers and the number of infected. Okay, number of infected, frankly, is a little overrated. Sometimes we panic by the number of infected. The only reason why we should panic by the number of infected, in my personal humble opinion, is this: it will lead to more people being infected. Okay, that's one. All right. Okay, so we don't want that. But what we should actually look deeper is the number of deaths per infected. And I think I'm quite proud to say, as a country, Singapore was successful in doing that, being a high number of infection, but very small number in mortality rate. So that's one. And unfortunately, in America, that's not the case. They have a lot of infection. They have a second wave of infection now with COVID-19 cases, and a lot of states like Florida, Texas, there's a resurgence in the number of people infected with coronavirus, and that is causing a lot of eyebrows to rise, mine included. Okay, so when we know that, hey, something is not right in America, so people tend to panic a little, especially investors who's involved in the US market or people who's just about to get on board with us in the US market. And I will always tell them just, honestly, the more bad news there are, the more reason you have to look deeper into what you can invest in, what you can buy. As a country is developed, the US is a developed country. Okay, pandemic or not, whatever happens, if it's bad news, people are in fear. That's when I feel you should rush, you should go in, okay, and look, be cautious. As I said, every time I tell everyone who invests with me, be cautious. That's what you should do. But don't stop looking. Look deeper. Find the missing piece. What exactly is going on? Is there something unique? Like right now, for the last few weeks, I read Orlando, Vegas, they are facing major delinquencies with mortgage, and they are expecting, like example, Las Vegas, the property price to drop next year in May 20%, by a factor of 20%. The worst in the country is Vegas. And people naturally will think, oh my God, it's not a good time to go to Vegas to buy property. I will think, no. I think, in my opinion, if that's something worse, maybe, but of course, we've only selected group of investors who have the right mindset. Okay, maybe I want to go into Vegas. I would. Would Vegas die? I mean, I don't think so. People still go to Vegas eventually when the economy recovers. They would. They go there to gamble. I mean, economy will not be in the longkang or be in the gutters for a long time. Eventually, it's going to recover and bounce back. When that happens, when it bounce back, people want to put the money into something that's entertaining, go back to gamble, have a good time. Vegas will be the first one to recover, I'm sure, at that point in time, and you can stand to make a lot of money there. Okay, but of course, don't just go and buy anything market value in Vegas right now. That's a big mistake. Okay, so in my opinion, if places like Orlando, Vegas are facing very, very heavy delinquencies with mortgages, okay, that's the time for me to look, and I really want to look even deeper in those cities. Okay, I know it might be contrary to a lot of people who's watching me, because they're so used to, okay, only when it goes up we buy, and then we make money in that kind of market situation. Well, frankly, any developing country who's in the market where property for price is always going up, you don't face a deflationary event, then yes, okay. But in a developed country like the US, Singapore, you need different kind of strategies sometimes. And this is what I feel. If they are saying Vegas is facing big trouble now, which is the number one country in terms of hardship, in the number one place in Nevada is the number one state for hardship, for property hardship, right? Is Nevada, and Vegas is the main driving force behind that hardship. Okay, then I think more people want to exit and leave. Okay, and that's the time before when exit, and then eventually it flattens. I won't be able to buy when it flattens, or maybe on the downward spiral. But I will never pay at the current market value. I will always look at paying even lesser than what it is, because those people are desperate. I'm not trying to take advantage of the situation. No, okay. I'm giving them a solution. I'm going to come in and offer them something, all right, and say, okay, look, we will be offering you a solution to get out of your mess, because you might be in delinquency with the bank. The bank is coming to foreclose on you. You're going to lose your home. All right, here's us coming on board. Okay, help you recover from your loan. Okay, take over the entire property. Here's some cash to get you by, and you can go on with your daily life instead after that. So we want to be able to do that. It's like a pre-foreclosure even. Okay, so this is where I see myself wanting to be a bit more involved, and I want to look at all these markets eventually. So I'm going to share you some slides. All right, not a slide, sorry, websites that I went to. So the number of unemployment in America at this point in time is flattening a little. It's coming up the curve. So 14.7 million back in April. May became 13.3 percent of the US population became unemployed, and then it even dropped to 11.1. Okay, so the number of unemployed is around fell by 3 to 17.8 million. It's now about 17.8 million people unemployed. Well, that's the official number. Okay, if you read deeper, and a lot of experts will say this official number is not really the real figure. The real number, some say, is at least twice or even 3 times that figure. So we are looking at about 40 to 50 million Americans unemployed, because eventually, after some weeks, if I'm not mistaken, after 2 months of being unemployed, and if they're still unemployed, the bureau will remove their number, so they're no longer part of the statistic. So what will happen is that this unemployed Americans who remain unemployed for too long will no longer be part of the statistics. Okay, and that's the part that people feel like this is very misleading. The number is misleading. All right, so this is something you got to look deeper. So there's probably a fair bit more, or a lot more Americans who's currently unemployed, and this is a worrying figure. This is a worrying trend, because if you want to be able to afford a house, the first thing that you need is a job, and that's the worrying trend. Whereby if you don't have a job, how will how the housing market recover? So that's the question, and well, I still foresee there is a silver lining. As of now, the US market is a bit in a mess, because recently also there was protests, Black Lives Matter movement all over the country, even all over the world. They were protesting. I think it kind of abated a bit, but I do foresee if people go back home, the infection rate is gonna is gonna rise further over the next few weeks. Take note of that. All right, be ready for that. Whereby US infection rate is gonna increase no more, and more bad news is gonna come out of the US. They're gonna smear Trump's name. They're gonna smear his name, and news always gonna say about this guy is not unfit to be the president. All this kind of nonsense will start to pen a lot of fearful energy around to people watching the news and reading the news. So if that happens, well, it's better if you're able to immunize yourself from all this kind of negative news, because I'm able to do so, but I like to look deeper into whatever is happening, okay, and find the actual reason behind, and look at something else that people might not be looking at. And this is something I like to do. I love to do that. Okay, I don't like to just base my strategy on what's on a headline, because you might be misinformed. Okay, so you have to be careful with that. Now, so the other thing is this, that we were doing a bit of check. Mortgage is dropping to an all-time low. Okay, so no, so this one is not mortgage. This is people willing to buy virtual tours. So there are more people willing to buy properties virtually. So about 30% of them, apparently, from this article, that people are willing to buy property without even going to the property right now. So they are willing to do virtual tours. So if you go to Zillow and all that, you will see a lot of all these 3D homes. This is Vegas. I was just looking at Vegas market, right? And if you look at this, there is an option. If I just choose one property, there's an option for me to look at virtual tours. Take a tour. Okay. So video, in-person video chat. Yep. So you got to request a tour. Okay. So this tour, you have to request for it. I apologize. So it's not as you can see now. Okay. So there you go. There's some pictures that you can view. Not too bad. So you can see virtual tours. I think in Singapore they have this same technology as well, I'm sure. Okay. So people in America, they're willing to do virtual tours. So that's something that we have to embrace. So when we sell properties as of now, I will work with realtors who will do virtual tours for us at the same time. Okay. Then, if I were to show you this particular article, yes, US mortgage rate falls below 3% for the first time. Okay, they fell to 2.9%. That's the average. So some places 2.6, 2.7, 2.8. It's an average of 2.98%. Of course, it's a lot lower in Singapore. Okay, but 2.9% is still a good number, guys. It's still a very good number. Whereby homeowners will now be able to afford a much more affordable loan to buy their house. It's a lot more affordable than 10, 20, 30 years ago when it was a lot higher then. So now the rate is 2.9%. That's the average rate, because if I have mentioned this many times, there has been investors pouring money into the US dollar denominated bonds, okay, like treasuries and mortgage-backed security. Keyword here, mortgage-backed security. Okay, yes, they are really moving to the suburbs. Whoever you are, I hope you grant Facebook yes, correct. Yeah. I'm not so sure who you are. I think Mr. Noh Hassan. Please grant Facebook. StreamYard the permission to display your name, because I don't know who you are unless you grant StreamYard permission. Okay, so mortgage-backed security. This is the keyword here. Mortgage-backed security is what the banks create your loan into some form of a bond that they will resell it at their own secondary market. Okay, so the main buyer for that loan, okay, for the bank, because they make money from that, right? Not just from giving you the loan, but also from selling that piece of paper that they all these loans into one bond and sell it to the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is willing to pay cash, hard cash for it. Okay, the Federal Reserve will buy. And when they buy and buy and buy, there's a big demand. So the banks get even more desperate. They will even lower the rates so that more people, more homeowners will come on board, refinance or buy property using their loan so that they can give them the loan, make money, and then sell it back to Federal Reserve. You see? So this is where the Federal Reserve is like the backstop. Okay, they have been buying mortgage-backed security even more than Treasury, even more than government Treasury. They want mortgage-backed security more, a lot more of it. So it's in the billions that they're buying. So the reason why is because, and not just that, a lot of institutional buyers, they're trying to take risk off their portfolio. If you look at this is on Yahoo Finance. The current stock market at this point in time is at near an all-time high. The Nasdaq is through the roof, right? Okay, it dropped like crazy and then it went parabolic again. And then this is the whatever this one is. This is not S&P. Is it S&P? GSPC. Okay, what's S&P? Sorry, 1 second. Comparison with Dow Jones. Okay, this is the Dow Jones comparison with S&P 500. Safe. Yeah, there you are. Okay, so there you go. The S&P 500. It's all around the same. So what happened is when the financial market is so high, if you look, it's near an all-time high. Okay, because before that in history it was a lot lower. Then it went up and 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 up. So people are feeling the heat. They are worried about this being too expensive, stock market being too expensive. So some institutions, a lot of investors, they're taking their risk off the table by investing in something less risky, like mortgage-backed security, like bonds. Okay, so they cut their loss, or I don't know, maybe they sell a position. Okay, and then they invest that into MBS, in this case, mortgage-backed security. So that's why, okay, you will see a lot higher demand for loans, and we do anticipate the loan rate will fall even lower because the government wants to spur the country back, wants to give a jump start to the economy again, and one of it is to reduce the Federal Reserve rate, or the federal interest rate, and also to reduce in banks, eventually subsequently reducing their mortgage rate. So this will help to spur more activity because people find, money is cheap. Money is cheap to take a loan now. It's a lot cheaper now for me to take a loan on the property. So might as well I refinance and keep the cash for myself and then call for forbearance. They can do that. Okay. So then they keep and save their money for about a year before they resume payment of their loan. Okay. So this is what's happening that I noticed. So you have to anticipate more people being able to buy the property, but there's a silver lining to this. There's some cracks that's happening in the US property market. There's still some cracks. Okay, if you read these people here, experts, they're saying the housing market as of now, it dropped, bounced, then drop again, and bounce. So what you see is a W shape. Okay, it's a W shape recovery. So it's entering, it is recovering, it dropped, it recover, then it's going to drop again, and going to recover. So they're seeing a W-shaped recovery. Some people say it's not a V-shape anymore. It's going to be an L shape before it become a U. Okay, so now it's a W shape. They're anticipating. A lot of these experts, they're saying it is going to be a W-shaped recovery. W-shaped housing market recovery. Just according to them. They have a lot of data that they go through. I just read whatever they see. Okay, mortgage is low. The mortgage rate is low. Supply is tight because there's hardly any supply right now. Very hard. And millennials are coming into this housing market needing a house to stay. So that's a trend that's happening. Okay, and this is the housing hardship index from Bankrate. All right. So housing hardship index. So coronavirus, what happened is suppressing the economy. And people are unemployed, and there's a lot of people on forbearance, okay, or delinquency, with mortgage delinquency. So what you see now is that there are states that has been ranked by bankrate.com, okay, whereby from number 1 to number 51. And number 1, the top state in the US with the highest hardship is Nevada, okay, driven by Vegas. Okay, Nevada is very bad. The hardship index is 35.29. Okay, this is to measure the economic fallout state by state because of the pandemic, right? The pandemic is causing a lot of hardship to states, and Nevada is the number one country, number one state in the US that's facing a lot of hardship. And the more hardship there is in the state, the more I'm even wanting to look at that state. Okay, of course, with a lot of insurance when I invest there. When I buy property there will be a lot more criteria before we just buy. I won't buy anything blind. Okay, all right. So number one, Nevada. Number two is Hawaii. Okay, two is Hawaii. So there's quite a fair bit of these states. Then Michigan, number three. Then Texas, number 14. Florida, number 8. Okay, and California, number 10. The one that's not really affected are these states like Wyoming. Okay, Nebraska is the least hit state. South Dakota, North Dakota. These states are states that you will never hear people being all crazy about buying property there. You won't hear any of those news. So I'm not so sure how. I've never bought any properties in those states. Okay, not Montana, not Wyoming, not North Dakota, South Dakota, or Nebraska. I never bought any properties there before. Idaho and Utah. Okay, so these are very relatively low risk states, and they're not exactly suffering as much as places like Nevada. Okay, so Nevada, you see a delinquency is about 9.99%. 10% of mortgages in Nevada is facing some sort of delinquency. People are not paying their loan. Okay, but you got to read between the lines, guys. Okay, when they're not paying the loans, okay, could be that they're in forbearance. Okay, so the numbers just appear there. Okay, but there won't be any foreclosure on the majority of the loans because federal government has enacted a moratorium on any loans that is backed by the government. Okay, so there won't be any foreclosure activity on those properties at all for at least 6 months when they got themselves on the forbearance. Meaning they call a bank, I cannot afford to pay my loan. Please give me 6 months. If their loan is backed by the government, they will be automatically granted a 6 months reprieve from paying the loan. So 6 months. What people did was to just call a bank, okay, and then get themselves on forbearance, and then another 6 months they can extend to 1 full year, okay. During the 6 months to that 1 year when they don't have to pay the loan, they save the money. So that's why you see the savings rate in the country just went up, right? Okay, people just save money and then they got more money from the government, free money because of the CARES Act, where the government printed $2 trillion and give every American $1,000, $500, whatever. And then some of them went on unemployment, they saved the money and then they're locked in the homes. So there's not much things to do except buy online shopping. There's only so much online shopping they can do. So the rest of the money they save. So that's why the US are not really exactly a country of savers. Okay, trust me, they are not. You take a look at this. Okay, they are not a country of savers. This about less than 10%, but for the last since 1990, it was hovering at less than 10%. Okay, and then suddenly it just spiked up. Right? It spiked up so high because there's so much thing that someone can do with the money. They don't have anywhere to go. So for at least since 2013, okay, it was like paltry, 6 point something percent. If you look at Japan, they are very high saving countries. Singapore as well. Okay, but then all of the blue, the 32.2% in April, it correlates with what happened in the pandemic when the government forced states to go and to force lockdown on businesses and people there. So they just don't have anywhere to go. Okay, and that caused a lot of people to seek unemployment benefits, and then they save their money, and then their property goes into forbearance. Okay, and then they call a bank. They just choose to not do that, and they will only want to resume the loan after that 1 year ends. Okay, most of them. And the thing is this: majority of those that call a bank to ask for forbearance, okay, there's about 20 to 30% of the mortgage in the US that are not backed by the government. Okay, those will have their own arrangement with the bank. Okay, so usually the bank give about 6 months. All right, most of the time. But majority of them, or those people with the loans on forbearance, it means that when the end of the 1 year is over, if they're still not able to pay their loan, okay, then the bank can commence foreclosure proceedings. But that's probably next year in 2021, somewhere in May or April, okay, or after that. But to commence foreclosure proceeding will take another 1, 2, or 3 years. So if there is a major inventory of people in foreclosure, the bank would not want to go and foreclose on each and every one of them. They might let a lot of these properties sit and become zombie mortgage, right? Whereby people discover that what happened during subprime crisis, a lot of the people who live in those houses that has been foreclosed on, they live in those houses for free for at least 2 to 3 years. They live in it for free. A lot of them live in it for free. Okay, so you might see a repeat. The thing is this: those on forbearance, only 10% of those people on forbearance don't have any form of equity in the loan, meaning that very few of them. Okay, majority of the people on forbearance has a lot of equity, so they will not want to lose the property or their asset. Okay, so you see a lot of data flying in. You got to be careful with the data. So I have so much data coming in through my brain that I have to see which one do we refer to. Okay, which one do we refer to? So many data coming here and there, but naturally, a lot of people see there's a lot of cracks showing in the US real estate market. There's a lot of cracks showing. There's a lot more delinquencies happening. Okay, eventually it will become a big problem. But at the same time, people, because it's election season right now, okay, people do anticipate the government coming in to help a lot more families, a lot more homeowners with their homes, because they will not want a lot of people going to become homeless and go on the street. That's not what they want to do. That's not what they would like to have. You see, so this is something that people anticipate help from the Federal Reserve, help from the government to help them with their situation. Well, in my opinion, a lot of them might not really need the help because they're just taking advantage of the right to put their loan on forbearance and then just save the money, which is what's happened. A lot of them save the money, right? There's a high savings rate, okay, and then eventually, of course, there's a bit of a drop now because the economy reopening. Okay, and American being American, they spend what they don't have, right? Okay, so that's a very natural thing. And when you eventually get out of the forbearance, okay, you're no more in forbearance. You will need to start servicing the loan, okay. And by then, people do hope, because they don't know what's going to happen 1 year later, and people are anticipating that the economy might kickstart itself. Okay, a lot of companies are dying, but there are a lot of people still employed. And a lot of companies that survived the pandemic doing very well, and there will be a lot of new normal that's happening. So people will be redesigning into different jobs, and you will have a new thing going on altogether. So I am of the motivation. I am of the expectation that I don't think something major will happen in the US. I stand corrected, but I do foresee, okay, activity of foreclosure happening in 2 years or 3 years time. Okay, 2022, 2023, then you will see a lot of this foreclosure. Also, what foreclosure that will happen if the bank don't do anything to their property, they just let the property become become zombie, right? Because the people are just not paying. If that really happened, like what happened during subprime, okay, what will happen is those people, okay, that okay, those people that what's that? Sorry, so just so someone jump in. Okay, those people that have their properties in foreclosure, okay, the county government will come in. Okay, this is what will happen. Okay, if the bank ignore, okay, paying the property tax to the county government because the property is in foreclosure, right, with the owner, but the property will still have to service the property tax to the county government, and the county government will not relent. The county government will come in, okay, and foreclose on all these properties that belongs to the bank, okay, and the properties will be foreclosed not by the bank but by the county government. The bank will not be able to sustain too many properties in foreclosure, like what happened in subprime crisis. There are too many properties in foreclosure. They gave up some of it, and then the county, at the end of the day, foreclosed on the property belonging to the bank. So you see sometimes the name of the county versus Bank of America versus JP Morgan Chase. How can the bank not have any money? They just cannot sustain it. It's not sustainable for them. Okay, so a lot of activities expected in the next 2 to 3 years. If people are telling me then I should invest only in 2022, 2023. Well, it's up to you if you want to do that. I don't think so. I'm not going to time and wait 2022, 2023. I'll rather look at something now and be able to buy them cheap. This is what I will do. Okay, and don't wait for it in 2022. Then you think you enter, then anything can happen. You see, if people, but all the people are saying that they're moving away from the city to the suburbs, right? Maybe in 1 year, if medical technology is so great, is able to make people recover from any form of flu, influenza a lot faster, they are going to rush back to the city. I can guarantee you for sure. The city has a lot more life. Okay, there's a lot more activity. People will crave human interaction, okay, that will have a resurgence down the road. That's what I believe. Okay, right now they are running away from the city to go to the suburbs, have bigger space for themselves. But at the end of the day, living alone by yourself in the own suburbs is going to get boring. They want action. So action where? In the city. You might go back to the city. Okay, human beings are very short-term people. We are very fickle-minded. For a while we like this, and then we need variety. I'm enough of the suburbs. I want to run back to the city, and that I believe will happen. Okay, medical technology. The governments are investing billions of dollars into improving the what do you call it? The cure for flu. Okay, and what do you call it? I forgot the term. What's called the cure for the flu? The whatever you call it. It just left my brain. I'm sorry. Okay, but if that is something that will happen eventually, okay, I believe very, very much the city will make a comeback. All right, okay. Vaccine. Wow, vaccine. The word is vaccine. I apologize. Okay, so I'm not going to blabber too much. I think I've been blabbering a little bit too much for the last 45 minutes or 40 minutes plus. Okay, but Black Knight mortgage delinquency increased another 20% in May. Okay, but June payment suggests maybe cresting. Okay, it's dropping. All right, but never mind. Okay, so thank you once again to everyone who came on board to watch us on live. Suddenly there's more people on this particular call. If there's no particular question from anyone, okay, I apologize for the technical difficulties earlier. I don't know why. For some reason there was problem with my internet connection for some weird reason. But now I think it's better. Okay, I don't usually face any problem with my internet connection. It's usually quite fast in the house. Okay, but today was a bit weird. All right. So other than that, I have nothing further. Thank you so much for joining us on this particular live, and have a great weekend, everyone, and a great evening ahead. And I am running my 2 days worth of workshop tomorrow with some of our clients. And I look forward to see any of you who's joining me for the workshop tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. over Saturday and Sunday. Okay. All right. Thank you. And that's all. And cheers and have a good night. Bye-bye.